Everybody, today we're gonna create an app with Sqlite to submit some data into a database. So first of all, we are going to import Sqlite3. So let's save this file here into my folder like this one, and then I'm gonna also import the OS module. Okay, we're gonna make a class called database that will contain all the functions we need for our database. So we will open it with the method open that will open or create a new database. And to open it, we're going to use Sqlite3.connect that will connect to our database. Let's make one for the school, and it must end with DB. So once we create a database, we also need to create a cursor object to start writing it, etc. And then we also need to close the database. Gonna create another method called def-close that will close the database simply like this, con.close. So now let's create it with app equal database. So we will create an instance of our constructor here so that we can refer to each method through this name. So let's go app.open, and we don't want it to do like this. We want to db name so database name. We're going to pass the database name from here, and we're going to call it school.db. And once we open it, we want to also close it just to make sure that the database is created. We're gonna os.start file, and with nothing in it, I think. Let's see if everything works. I made a typo here. Okay, database cool, there it is. It's 0, as you can see, so there is nothing in it. One thing that now we wanna, so we created a database, closed it, and we just saved a database with nothing in it. That's all. We get our open and close function. They are self-explanatory, and so maybe you wanna make a little instruction here. Just to remember if you use again this code. So app equal database to make an instance of the database. So app.open create /open the database, app.close close database. This can be quite obvious when you begin, but as your program will be more complicated, you you will maybe you will be grateful to see that, to go back here and immediately go and understand how to open, close it, and do the other stuff instead of going into the code. So this is a sort of index, something like this, instructions help. Okay, what we want to do next is to how to create a table, and then how to insert data in the table, and 3, how to delete all the data in the table, and 4, how to make a GUI for the to input query delete data. Okay, these are the steps we are going to make. So let's create a table. Okay, we're gonna create a table with this simple thing here. We're gonna put self, the table name, and the voices, the items. Yeah, items of the table. So first of all, we're gonna to tables will the items will be like this. So at the start, we're gonna start with an empty list. If there is an empty list, it will put some default data into it. That is the date, this other object here. These are just examples. Debit, it's a number. Credit, it's a number. Div, it's a number. And then we're gonna close it. So sorry, not F, but just items. So, and okay. So we created our table, and if it's empty, this list gonna fill it. Sorry, not a list, but an empty string. And then it will execute the SQL code. There it's this one. Create table name, right? Okay, so let's see if now we created this table, and to make it, after we opened it, we're gonna create a table. So we need to create it just once, otherwise it could give me an error maybe. because it is already created. So we're gonna call it students. Okay, table name, and also not only table name, but we need also to use the voices items down here. Okay, to create the table. And so now we get the students. We don't pass any items because we get them in here. But if we want to pass different items instead of the default one, we're gonna use it like this. We're gonna, for example, name and age. Okay, so we will pass different items here. Line 44. Okay, so I need to add a couple of parentheses here and here, and to have my my comments here, my into written here without spaces. Okay, now it says the table is already existed, so let me do a try. Okay, table exists yet, and we got the Sql database. It's 8 kilobyte because we got a table into it. So okay, now that we've done this, we're gonna add items. So add the row into this table with the table name and with the data into it. So to make it, we are going to use this one. So self.c.execute and insert into table name. We're gonna insert values that will be this data that will pass. And so the data will be like this one, name and age. So I'm gonna do app.addRow, and we're going to add first of all the table name, so students, and then the data that will be into a tuple like this, and it will be the name, we'll see Mario for example, and then the age, let's say 18, and okay, we're gonna just add one. Okay, now everything should be good. Let's hide this. Okay, we don't need the table anymore. We just want now to see what's in the table now that we added some data. So let's do a query with self, with a table name, and then to look into the data and print them. So we will do self.c execute, and we want to do select everything from table name. So app.query, and for, let's call this one table, for row in table, print row. So we will see what's into the table. So app.query students, because I wanted this one, and let's hide this. We don't need to look at that folder. It doesn't print anything. Okay, we got, okay, when we execute here, we insert a value. We must also, I think, to commit our data. So so we add a row, and we also need to add dot commit. We do not want to create another function for this for the moment. So we add a row, and then we commit it. Okay, so now it's done. Okay, we don't want to add other data, and perhaps this commit thing, well, let's put it here. So now let's do the query, and you see there is this one, it's into our database. So what we're going to do now is to create a graphic user interface to see it, but this thing we are gonna make it in the next video. Thank you and see you soon.